like I said, it might be one of the more understated 200s with Texas 300 on the same night. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, it's a privilege to have a milestone game along with Tex, who's been the face of this footy club for a long time, and even before I was playing AFL, being a South Australian, watched Tex grow up in the Crows colours, and to share it, I've got to know Tex and his family well, so it'll be good for our kids to run out together and enjoy hopefully a special night.
How about bringing it up as a Crow, given you've spent most of your career as a Demon?
Yeah, it's something that I always look back on my time at Melbourne and so thankful for the 176 games I played, and some key people helped me get there. Simon Goodwin, Greg Stafford, who was my forwards coach in the last 4 or 5 years. They're probably two blokes that looked at me, challenged me and got the best out of me, and now to come here and also contribute but also improve my footy since coming here, it's something that I'm very proud of and just grateful to be in this position, coming towards a first final series for this footy club, and to be a part of that now. I can't wait to get stuck in next Thursday night.
Could you have expected the move to Adelaide to have gone any better? I guess going from 15th to first and making finals?
It's a great question. I think when I stood up here the first day one, I hadn't even trained here, and I said I'll be keen to see how we go the first few months so I can give you an honest opinion. And straight away I said I saw how competitive they are. I probably underestimated how skillful and how much growth we will have in the one season, and that's just to say it's now given ourselves an opportunity to be in seed one, position one in the final series, and really showcase that we belong in finals footy, and that starts on a Thursday night. So it's something, as the year has gone on, I've grown confident in what this group's capable of, and we've just stuck to our process, and that for us now is looking forward to that challenge against a team who we've watched for the last few years, besides the previous year playing finals, and they've been to the top of the mountain. So we'll be keen to see how we go against them.
What was the sell like from the club when it was, I guess, nearly a year on since you did decide to make the move back here? What was the sell like from the club? What was the kind of recruiters saying to you about what the club could do this year and beyond?
I can't even remember having any conversations around what their expectation was with this footy club. It was more around my role within it, how they saw it, and straight away I felt so relatable to Nixie and Reedy and felt like I could contribute, and again have come in and felt so valued from Benny Keys, showing me how he goes about his offence, to Josh Shelley, Lockie Murphy, around how they go with the pressure and finish in front of goal. So it's something, you walk into a new footy club a bit anxious, but since I've started pre-season and gone throughout the year, I think we've seen a group who, one, value each other's role, but also are keen to help each other grow week to week.
We've seen how important your leadership has been throughout the year, but as we head towards finals with a group that doesn't have much finals experience throughout it, what sort of messaging and how can you help those guys that haven't had that finals experience like you have?
Well, the learnings for mine over the years have been a finals game might be different to the outside public, but for us it's about what's worked for us to get into a position to play finals footy, and that's our process, that's our game style, and that's our mindset towards each game. So nothing like that will change. There'll be a bit more noise, that's out of our control, and then also the atmosphere come Thursday night. We've been very fortunate to have an Adelaide Crows fan base that have turned up each and every week, so I feel like we're comfortable in the loud atmospheres, the tight games, and for us now it's about understanding that we've won in games where we've scored a lot on the scoreboard, we've defended really well, and then also in a tight contested game when challenges arise, you've seen a group run towards it, and I hope if it is another challenging environment and game, that you see the same.
Can you still find moments over the next few weeks to try and soak it all in, I guess, or do you try to leave that for after the finals are said and done?
It is a great question, because 12 months ago I was on holidays, as were all the players here at the Adelaide Crows, and you're so envy of the opportunity that clubs get. So it's a great reminder that this position we are in now, to not only the AFL team but the SANFL team, to be playing finals and both have double chances, you've got to be excited. You've got to enjoy this moment, because as kids, as young AFL players, and now as a more experienced AFL player, this is what you sign up to day one of pre-season when Nixie gets out the front, and this is where you want to go, guys. In the back of your mind, although you don't say it publicly, you want to be there in September. And again, we've given ourselves a chance in the seed one position. Not that means heaps, but you get a double chance and a home final, which we cannot wait to get out to AO.
You're one of the few players with finals experience. A lot of players in this lineup that don't have it, and you mentioned the noise, a lot of distractions, extra media commitments, guys going off to All-Australian tonight. Do you sit down, or do some of those younger guys come to you and just sort of guide them through this process when it is a different week and a different build-up, given you've got the extra week to prepare?
I think that's the responsibility of a great footy club, is to handle that in a manner that allows the athletes to get out there when you're training. You're there to train. Your sole focus is to improve and to grow, and then throughout the week, the ability to support people when they need to be supported, but also almost back to your question earlier around enjoy the week, enjoy the build-up, enjoy leaning into the atmosphere, but when it's time to perform, we've got a mindset that we're hungry, we're ready to go.
Alex, you mentioned Nixie before. What role did he have in getting you here, and what's impressed you most about him? I mean, he was under a lot of pressure, which you weren't here last year at the start of the year, but yeah, just your impressions in general of Nixie.
Yeah, chatting early on, even before I walked in here, I could tell straight away that he drives a hard program, and when I say that, he's got an ability to see a player's strength, but also understand what makes them tick, and not every player ticks the same. When I say ticks, what conversation drives them to improve. Some is more nurturing, some is more challenging, and he's got a great manner to understand the athlete. And then another small thing that impressed me was when I chatted to them at the end of last year, they were going through a challenging period at the footy club. And he walked into my home in Melbourne, and straight away I just felt so comfortable. There was no frustration from his end around the year that they've had, and it was almost like he was so excited about where the group was going, although it was a challenging time. It gave me a great sense of comfort, and also I could tell how much he was, I guess, the competitive side of his role, how much he wanted it, and I think we've seen that this year. His group has grown under his lead, and he's also been very well supported around him.
So many players and coaches have praised your impact, but from your point of view, what do you think you've brought to the club?
Oh, what have I brought? It's a great question. Maybe just a willingness to compete each and every week, and I feel like I'm very grateful, and I'll say it again, I'm probably repeating myself, but coming into a system where people value each other's role to a really high degree. So an example I'll use is Tex Walker, game 300 this week, but his ability to empower people around him. So you see Riley Thilthorpe this year in the All-Australian squad, and that's off the back of having someone who's about to play 300 games allow Riley to be the front man at times and stand up in big moments. And Riley can't do that unless he feels empowered by a Taylor Walker or Darcy Fogarty. And then I generally feel like that flows through each little line group. So you've got a small forward group that each and every week someone will have a game that is up in lights statistically. But within that, we have a system that we believe is so strong, and it allows each other to flourish when your moment comes. So that for me is probably when you say, what do I bring? I'm bringing that into a system that's already been built over the last 5 years of the Nix era.
With Michael Annie set to come back next week, do you think he may join you in the forward line?
Well, his track record says he's won game and kicked 3, I reckon, against Richmond there, so his form's good. It'll be, again, whatever Nixie feels like can improve the team and help us play at a level that we need to. And Maxi's a player that he's a utility, can play multiple positions, and he's done a power of work. So fingers crossed he gets through this next week and puts his hand up for a first finals berth.
You put some work into Josh Dacos a couple of weeks ago. How important is he to their structure and the way they want to play?
Yeah, the thing with their opposition is they have great players across all lines, and Josh is one of those players, but as soon as you pour too much energy into one, another can get off the leash. So I feel like both teams respect each other from a player point of view around the impact that they can have on games, and our ability is first and foremost to focus on what we need to bring to this game. And I'm sure there'll be little magnets moved here or there across the night, but that's something you hand the keys over to Nixie and Muzz who are driving that, and we just go out there and bring energy and intent.
How about the feeling or the sledging that you might be expecting on the night? We've heard, unfortunately, through the media, of some of what was said a couple of weeks ago. You're expecting it to be nasty, and is that part of the distraction that you need to make sure you don't get drawn into?
I can only speak for us as a footy club. We're not buying into that. For us, it's around what I spoke about before. The next, however 9 days it is, 8 days, is getting to the start line with the mindset that you're ready to perform, and we're not buying into any of that. That's for the media to talk about, or the fans and supporters to create an atmosphere. For us, it's just about getting to that Thursday night in a mindset that we're ready to perform and understand that we've earned this right to be the first qualifying final against an opposition who have been to the mountain just recently. So we're really keen to showcase the AFL world that this is where we want to be, but come back to our process each and every time.
How do you replace such a skillful player like Isaac when finals, a player like that can be the difference between winning and losing at times?
Yeah, I think you've seen around this year when someone goes out of our team, the ability to plug into our system. So you've seen Pedler come in, play an enormous role. Zachy Taylor's come in this year and continue to develop. So although one player goes out, it allows others to to have an opportunity. And I feel like, even say Max Michelini, to your question earlier around he goes out of the team for a bit, how good's Hugh Bond been? He's come in, performed each week, and it creates opportunity. And although you want every player to be available, sometimes they're not. And it's a team who can come together and galvanise and create opportunities for others.
For a team that hasn't played finals for 8 years, the feeling might be about, the question might be about nerves and whether you can lift to the occasion. But the fact that you've already played in these games against Collingwood, Hawthorn and Brisbane that have felt like a final, could you be any better prepared? Like, do you sort of dismiss any concerns of nerves because you've been in those high pressure situations already?
I think if you asked every athlete, honestly, there'll be a level of nerves because, again, it's the anticipation and the moment can be big. But for us, it's the comforting knowing that we've been in games where we've been challenged, we've come from behind, we've been in front, we've had to hold on to leads, and it's also been in games where it might be ugly. So for us, we take a lot of confidence out of that, but also understand that whoever's on the other side, this time it's Collingwood, they're a great outfit and they've also earned the right to play in the first final. So for us, it's having the mindset, hunger, and a galvanised group who you see lean into each and every occasion.
I think I'm right in saying 2021 Melbourne Premiership, your mum was able to come over for the grand final, where most families weren't allowed to share in that experience because of the lockdown. What's it like now to have them very much in the inner sanctum with you here? We know that was obviously part of the reason the family to come home.
Yeah, and this is, I guess, a blessing coming home when the Crows have been through their journey, and now we get an opportunity to be playing in September and to have my family there. I've got about 20 mates who I grew up with coming along as well, and that for me is so special because although it's a small little milestone in the scheme of an AFL world, a lot of the people who have been in your corner here, especially here in Adelaide, from the Glenelg Footy Club, Sacred Heart College, to playing at the Plympton Bulldogs, Mitchell Park Junior Footy Club, there's people along the way that shape you, and there's not one sole person that shapes you, but everyone here who will be there for me have played a small part in giving me this opportunity to stand here in a Crows polo and be playing finals footy in 2025.
Where were you on holiday last year? You kind of spoke about this time last year on holiday. Where were you?
Place called Melbourne, Victoria. Yeah, not too far. Just packing up the house and looking forward to the move back to here.
Is there Can I just ask just about the general attention and focus on the Crows? I mean, you would have had, a preconception about what it's like, but what's it like living in the bubble in Adelaide and the focus on the footy club compared to Melbourne, where there is more clubs to spread the load, I guess?
Yeah, it's a good question. I guess over the years you learn, what helps you perform each week, and that for me isn't always to be in and out with every media story going on. So I've probably been removed from it in this state around every TV show, every news outlet. But in saying that, this year we've been very fortunate to be in a position where we're performing and there's a great vibe around the Adelaide Crows. So you've got to lean into that as a player, and I've really enjoyed that experience. But you also understand when times are tough, it could be overwhelming, but I also appreciate the support that South Australia have given the Adelaide Crows this week or this year, and this week coming up is a great opportunity for us to not only represent the Adelaide Crows, but also South Australian footy as a whole.
Have you seen it on that? Have you seen any of the photos, or did you drive past the entertainment centre this morning? You've got lines of people who've been there all morning in the freezing cold and getting rained on. I mean, how grateful are you to have diehard fans like that?
Yeah, that's something coming across. I always love playing at Adelaide Oval, and being the home team this year every second week, it's blown me away, the support and how they've just rocked up each and every week. And to the fans waiting out there at the moment for a ticket, I hope they were successful in it, and we can't wait to get out in front of you guys next Thursday night to put on a show that makes you proud.